Well, hello and Happy New Year to you all. This is the January issue of the Mover magazine, and as always there's lots of stuff in here to keep you occupied during the darker hours of the winter. Of course, unless you're in the southern hemisphere, in which case it's bright summer there for you. But there's a story in here about Dehaan, who's on their 8th generation. This is Dehaan in the Netherlands, on their 8th generation. I always remember a story where somebody said that if a company survives 3 generations, then it will last forever. This company's survived 8, which I think is worthy of a few words in the magazine, certainly. Lots of other things in here today. We had the Movers and Storers show in November in the UK that we reported on quite heavily in this issue. There's a sort of resume of all the things that went on at the show, and there's also a story in here about oh, here we are. It's about getting ready for GDPR. This is the new European data protection rules that come into effect in May this year, and there's a pretty good story there giving you some good advice about what you may or may not want to be doing. There's also a report of the show itself and what happened at the show. And there's also our cover story is based on something that happened at the show, and that is that our friend Nicola Mason, who's on the front cover here and featured in this story, is she returned to the moving industry after about 10 years away. So Nicola's very welcome back home. We thought we ought to tell you all about that. There's loads of other stories in here that I won't bore you with right now, but I know that you'll enjoy reading some of them. There's one in particular. Oh, there's two that I thought I'll make particular mention of. There's one here that I think is really interesting. It's about the world's first autonomous container ship. Now, this is a container ship, a real container ship, that doesn't have any crew, and the whole thing just works autonomously, automatically. It's not big. It carries something like I forget what it says now. I think 200 containers. No, I lie. It's 120 containers is all it carries, but it does the whole thing automatically. And there's a photograph here that's not of the actual ship. It's of a model of the ship under test. But this thing is going to be produced. It's called the Yara Birkeland. It is going to be produced and in service very soon. So it's really sort of a harbinger of things to come. And the other thing as well that I thought was interesting was I put a little story in here talking about a harbinger of things to come, about a new electric heavy goods vehicle that's been produced by Tesla, and this year is going to be launched in the United States. And this, if what is written here is to be believed, then this is an extraordinary thing. It does, to give you an idea, a 40-ton truck does 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, and it can do 500 miles on a single electric charge, which I think is extraordinary. And it only takes 30 minutes to charge it up to do to put 400 miles back in the tank. And that is an extraordinary thing. How successful it will be, I don't know. How much it costs, I don't know, because they didn't tell us. So it's obviously going to be quite an expensive thing, but a real piece of the future here. Anyway, it's all down there, and I know you'll enjoy reading it, and we've enjoyed producing it. Have a great 2018, and I'll see you in a few weeks' time. Bye for now.